his closest associates and his pupils were Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru, who had quite different political views. Usually in history books you will read that Patel was closer to the orthodox, or let's say conservative or right-wing part of the Congress, and Jawaharlal Nehru was closest to the left wing. The problem was that during Gandhi's assassination, Patel was the Minister of Internal Affairs, and he was held responsible for Gandhi's security. So Patel's position after assassination was weakened, and Nehru's position was much stronger. Also, the Nehru's position in the Congress party prevailed. So, with the Nehru prevailed the ideas of different economical ideas that Gandhi had. Gandhi had an idea of empowering small communities and self-relied and self-sustained small village community. However, Nehru saw India's future in big industrial development, and but under state control, under tight state control, and his main let's say, he took Soviet Union and 5-year plans of Soviet Union as an example for Indian development, which is different from Gandhi's ideas, what we will read usually in history. However, and Patel was usually considered as a conservative, arch-conservative, right-winger, sometimes even accused of having contacts with big business and so on. So he was seen as a very kind of a capitalist India and socialist India. But this picture is, I think, it's not completely correct. But let's see Patel. Patel's first and most important duty in India was one incredibly important duty, and this is the integration of 565 princely states. So India, when it gained independence, half of the country was under princely states, under Maharajas and semi-independent or quasi-independent kings. So actually, India gained independence. 46% of the territory of India gained independence, and 50% of India was under this princely ruled states. So Patel's duty was to integrate them all. So what he had to do, he had to take 565 kings, Maharajas, Nizams, and other rulers. He had to persuade to renounce their kingships, to renounce their states, and to join India. And he managed. And he was called the Iron Man of India by doing that. Iron Man, he is not Iron Man in the sense of Bismarck, Eisenhower. It's different because he was Iron Man of steely will. He managed to do it through negotiations, through persuasion. Almost no, and everybody yielded at the end. Everybody, all 565. The force was almost never used. It was used in one or two moments, but without any real victims or anything. And it was an exceptional feat, and it was rather neglected, but it was a fantastic feat in the eve of India's independence. And it was Patel's great contribution to India. But I would say that here we can see this Gandhian undercurrent, this persuasion. Nehru was not always in line with Patel. Nehru, few times Nehru lost his temper and he wanted to send an army, but Patel would try to negotiate. Sometimes it took few years for some states to negotiate at the end the entry into the Union. The last viceroy of British India, Lord Mountbatten, once said that if we would put Nehru in Patel's position, it would be a train wreck. But Patel managed. And Patel had this aura era of being arch-conservative, but he was actually arch-Gandhian, and he used Gandhian structure methods to integrate the India, and it is a great achievement of, I think, Gandhian politics to get this incredible feat. The second was constitution, and the Indian constitution, which was drafted in 1949 and accepted in 1949, had really had some amount of Gandhian ideas. Of course, Ambedkar was the driving force of the drafting of the constitution. However, some really important Gandhian ideas were incorporated into the constitution. We can see, I just put some parts of the constitution which are directly connected to the Gandhian ideas. For instance, you can see fundamental rights, and there is Article 17 which abolishes untouchability and caste distinction. So there is also panchayat, which was also a Gandhian idea, although earlier than that, but also languages. This is one important Gandhian feature because language pluralism, Gandhi preached pluralism, political pluralism, but also language pluralism, because that's a holistic approach, and he approached the same way to the languages. So he wanted to empower every Indian languages, and India has a really lot of languages, as you might know. There are even different, at least 3 or 4 different language families, and dozens of languages are spoken in India. And Gandhi fought against hegemony of one language. He fought for complete language pluralism, and this was really implemented in India, and this functions even today, where every federal state has 1, 2, 3 main languages and additional languages, and on the state level you had in the constitution was drafted, you had Hindi and English. So Gandhi, it was Gandhi's idea. Gandhi was promoting while he was alive. He was drafted after he was dead. But Gandhi, while he was alive, he was paradoxically for use of the English language. He was not against use of the English language, although the English were, of course, British colonial rule was the oppressor, and Gandhi had no problem with English being official language of India. Also, in 1925, there was a legal abolition of untouchability, but there was also a lot of really progressive and liberal laws which regulated Indian society, and these laws were all rooted in main Gandhian ideas, and some of the laws were connected to rights of women, which was a very important topic in Gandhi. So there was this law against dowry, law against discrimination of widows. And these are laws which were implemented only after the British rule. It was also kind of the paradox that this liberal British law system recognized caste distinction, recognized distinction of genders, which was not recognized in Great Britain, but in India it was. Only after the British went, under, I think, Gandhian ideas, but also Ambedkar, everything, these ideas were on the other side, this holistic, Gandhi's holistic worldview can be seen, for instance, in his view of the villages, which were in focus of his idea, of his ideology, politics, or philosophy, we could say social and political philosophy. So for him, it was very important to have functional villages where you can be healthy, where sanitation was working, but also not only health, sanitation, and economy, but for him also the aesthetic part was equally important for him. So